What's up, everybody? I'm Jesse Showalter, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about payment schedules for you and your freelance clients. You get paid all at the beginning, all at the end? Is there some sort of milestone you can hit and request payment? We're going to be talking about all of that coming up next. The key to frustration is unmet expectation. You want to have a really frustrated client? Don't set the expectations of the project out beforehand. You want to have a happy client and a great project? Set the expectations on right from the outset of the project. Let them know how the project's going to go, what the major milestones are, and when payment fits in to those milestones. I'm pretty much saying you should not wait till the very end to get paid. That's very, very dangerous. Don't ever do that. I'm also saying I don't think a client should ever have to pay you 100% upfront. That's kind of dangerous for them. They've never worked with you. Now, all of this is different if this is a client you've worked with a ton of times and there's a lot of trust and they say, hey, we'll just pay you now, and you do the work. You've always been really dependable. Well, that's fine. That's a separate video, a separate topic. But when you're working with a client and there's not that level of trust, and even when there is, I think this is a good way to operate, you should have a payment schedule. And that means you schedule it out beforehand and you stick to it no matter what. And the schedule always starts with, in my opinion, a deposit. Deposits are a must to start working for two reasons. Number one, they protect you in case the client walks away. And number two, you've already reserved this block of time for you to work with this client that you could have sold to another client. They have to pay for that time that you're giving up. Whether or not any work happens or not, they have to pay for the time that you may have wasted on them. And so if a client says, hey, we've entered into this project and we've been doing it for a few weeks and we've gotten some stuff done, but we think we want to go with somebody else, that's fine. You've paid me my deposit and it's non-refundable. You can go ahead and go with somebody else, but I'm keeping the deposit. That covered my time. So how much should someone pay for a deposit? It kind of depends. Depends on how comfortable you are. It also depends on what you would feel comfortable with them walking away. How much would it take to cover your time and that reservation of time that you've made? I think that's a question to ask. Somewhere between 25 and 50%, I think, is a valid deposit amount. 25%, I don't know, 30%, 40%, however you want to work it out. You like nice round numbers, just do 50%. I don't know, whatever works for you. You could even say, hey, give me 15% or 50% of the total amount of the project, and 20% of that is non-refundable. However you want to do it, it should cover the kickoff and the start of the project up to your first milestone payment. Now we're talking about the milestones of your project. You should have major milestones built in. So if it's like a web design project or a website project, milestones might include strategy, content, design, development, launch, right? Where in there are the major milestones you feel comfortable with, and that the money you've received so far stops. You stop feeling comfortable doing work at that point. So let's say you got a 50% deposit and you feel comfortable going all the way through strategy and content, all the way up to design. But as soon as they sign off on design and we're moving on, you don't feel comfortable doing work anymore. So you need to get that next milestone payment ahead of time. This is fairly common. I have got 50% from you. We've finished these 3 milestones of the project. We're moving into development. I'm going to need the next 25% from you before we begin. Client pays that 25%. Now you're up to 75%, and you can move on and do the work. And this is great because if the client walks away from you right now, you have 75% of the project paid for. It's paid for your time. It's worthwhile. And so you have that milestone you've hit, and then you have the final milestone of the project, or final payment milestone, which is, hey, we're ready to launch. We're ready to hand off deliverables to you. As soon as you make final payment of the final 25% that's left over, then we will hand off all deliverables to you. At this point, I feel like a client can trust you because every time they've paid you, you have given them what they paid for and what was in the outline or what was in the plan from the very outset of the project, right? So nothing has been a surprise. You're not hoodwinking them. They've gotten everything they've paid for and they expected, therefore they're not frustrated, and they should be happy at this point. If they're angry for some reason, if they want to walk away and not pay you 25%, you only missed out on 25% of the billable kind of like hours or billable kind of like work that you've done. And that's not as bad as missing out on 50 or 100%. So that's why payment schedules are so important. It covers you. It covers the time that you put in. It's the safe thing to do. It always starts with a deposit. It always has milestone payments in between, and it's always been dictated and communicated to the client from the very outset of the project. Those are payment schedules. So that's pretty much it. That's it for payment schedules. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I do lots of videos about design and development and freelance, so stick around. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments and I'll answer them as soon as I can. Hope you guys are having an amazing week designing amazing things, making amazing things, and keeping your clients from being frustrated. I'll see you in the next one.